All right, so the shooter in Las Vegas had 16 guns in the hotel room. So why did he need 16 guns? Actually, this explains a lot. I talked about yesterday how I thought it was an AR-15 and not an AK-47. So the information I gleaned from that came from the sounds I heard when the shooter first opened fire. As I digest more and more of the footage, and the thing went on for so long that at various times different sound was coming back that made me think that at least one of the guns might have been an AK. Why was he switching guns instead of just reloading? So there was a book called The Frozen Chosen that I read a few years back. It was a first-hand account of the Battle of the Chosin Reservoir in the Korean War. And in that, the Marine Corps covered the retreat of tens of thousands of Army troops, and they were being attacked by the Chinese who'd come over the Yalu River and to reinforce North Korean troops. And they routed MacArthur back to his ships. And on this retreat, or like the Marine Corps like to call advancing to the rear, they don't retreat, they always advance even if it's to the rear, that those military men would fire their M1 Garands in rapid fire, and they would get so red hot that they would have to have more than one. Like they would pick one up off from a dead comrade, and they would, comrade's a bad word, dead, fellow Marine, and they would shoot one till it turned red hot, then stick it barrel first down in the snow to cool off while they shot the other one. So barrel heating explains why this guy had 16 rifles and why they all had 50-round magazines, it seems like to me. This is probably so that the other rifles could cool down. So rather than reloading, he probably shot a gun dry, ran to the second shooting location where another gun was staged, switched guns while the other barrels cooled down, because you can't shoot the mass number of rounds that he was expelling from a single gun. It will melt down. Just look on there, melting down cheap ARs, and you will see that rapid fire immediately heats up a gun. I was at the gun range the other day, and I shot two 30-round magazines in semi-auto, so it was more like dot, 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 and then I reloaded, and I took a little bit of time, I assessed my target, and then I shot another magazine. And the gun was so hot when I got ready to leave that I had to wait for 15 minutes. It was still so hot to the touch, I thought it would melt my rifle bag. So I had to wrap it in the target and put it in there so the paper would protect the nylon in the bag, or it would just melt it right through. So barrel heating explains why this guy had 16 guns. And it also shows that he really planned this out. Like even me, a gun guy, probably wouldn't consider barrel heating in that kind of situation. It took me 24 hours to come up with barrel heating. And so this guy planned this out right down to understanding that the guns would melt down if he shot that many rounds through them. So he had to have multiple weapons to cover the multiple, rounds, the so many rounds that he fired. So that's why he had so many guns. And he probably used most of them. So this is a horrific thing. God help us all. More videos to come.